What's going on, guys? Failed to listen. Welcome back to more Failed Thoughts, and in this video, I thought I would finally talk about the disappointment that is Fallout 4. Now, make no mistake, before we go any further, and I'll probably say this at least once more, I do think that Fallout 4 is a very good game. I think it's a very well-made game. It's definitely the most polished game in terms of bugs and glitches that Bethesda's ever made, whatever you want to take that for, whatever it's worth to you if you've played other games from Bethesda and other games on this engine. I think you get a pretty good idea what I'm talking about. But simply put, Fallout 4 is not a good Fallout game, in my opinion. Obviously, that's a little redundant, but sometimes you have to tell people that it's your opinion. Otherwise, they're like, "What? What did you say? Fallout 4 is the best." You know what I mean? I think Fallout 4 it's a good game, but it's not even. I don't even know if I would say it's a decent Fallout game. A good game if it was just on its own. If this was called something else, it would be a very good game. Something that, if I still gave out ratings and scores, I'd probably give like an 8 or a 9 or something. Because I do think there's a lot there. I think there's a lot of content, a lot to do. For the most part, it's a well-crafted world. Probably the most well-crafted world that Bethesda has ever done, but as it should be, you know what I mean? The game came out late last year in 2015. Games should be a lot more advanced, and that's going to bring me to another point here in a second, but I think with, especially New Vegas, I think that New Vegas is the GOAT Fallout game. I think Obsidian understands the lore of Fallout a lot better than Bethesda does. I think they understand the RPG elements of just being an RPG a lot better than Bethesda does. There's one thing, and I was having this discussion with another friend recently. Fallout 3 does have those moments that I probably never felt with Fallout New Vegas. Coming out of the vault for the first time, waking up as an infant child, and then your dad's there talking to you and being really nice, and then your mom's like kind of dying next to you. And there's a number of other things in that game that I won't spoil. I mean, I know it's a super old game or whatever, but some of those moments are, I never really got that from New Vegas. But what I did get was like around 800 hours worth of playtime, crazy good mod community that's still to this day support the game, Obsidian understanding RPGs, just a number of things. I don't want to go too much into New Vegas, but because of Fallout 3 and especially because of New Vegas, that's what hurts the experience with Fallout 4. I wouldn't quite say that Fallout 4 is as damaging to Fallout as maybe Resident Evil 5 or 6 are. 5's still a good game, but 6 to me just isn't very fun to play. So maybe like Resident Evil 6 is to the Resident Evil series. It's still a good game. It is. It's still very much a good game, but I can't, because of the lack of RPG elements, because of the hype that not only Bethesda generated to myself and others, but just the hype that I created for myself. Like, I waited a long time for this game. I waited like 5 or 6 years, right? Something like that, 5 or 6 years for a new Fallout game. And then I waited 7 or 8, something like that, for a new Fallout game from Bethesda, and we were all really excited. Everyone knew that their next game after Skyrim would undoubtedly be Fallout 4 or Fallout something. And in that respect, it's not as good. Obviously, they've improved the visuals, but that's going to bring me to maybe what is my final point about this, is like the presentation of it all, while much better than Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Skyrim, and Oblivion, again, as it should be a game released in late 2015, it should be a little more advanced. The problem is, the fact of the matter is, it's just not a lot more advanced compared to a lot of the other stuff that we have now. I mean, I watched a video yesterday, and it sort of inspired it. It finally gave me the spark that I needed to make this video. I watched a video from Kinda Funny Games. It's Greg Miller, right, and Colin Moriarty. They're very well known in the PlayStation community. They used to have the Beyond podcast on IGN, and then they broke away from all that. Now they have their own YouTube channel. They stream on Twitch and a few other things. I think Greg has his own website, and they were both talking. It was just them in the podcast, and I think the title of the video is Fallout 4, Is It Beloved, or something like that. And at one point in the video, I think it's around like the 40-minute mark, they both start talking pretty in depth about Fallout 4, and Colin just kind of like echoes what I've been saying about this game, about this engine. It's time to step it up. It is time for Bethesda to step it up. Like they need to change the overall presentation for this game, and not just the visuals with graphics and textures and so on and so forth, but animations and such need to be improved as well. And I think something about the gameplay needs to change, because while the gameplay in Fallout 4 is probably, I don't even know if you can deny this, a little bit more fun to play than, say, Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3. It's everything else that you get bored with in Fallout 4, in my opinion. Animations just take a huge hit in that game, and it still very much feels like you're playing Gamebryo Engine and on, Creation. What is Creation Engine 2.0? Basically, it's Gamebryo heavily modified. Like, this is still very much the same engine that we were playing Oblivion on, that we were playing Fallout 3 and New Vegas and Skyrim. Like, this is still the same engine. You can look at it and say, I don't know, man, this looks much better than those games, as it should, right? They've made improvements to their engine. There's only so far that you can push an engine before you're just like, all right, we got to make a whole new engine. And Colin made a great point. You look at games like Dying Light, right, that are absolutely beautiful for what they are. Open world, first-person games, not quite RPGs, maybe a little bit, tiny bit of RPG-ness in there. You look at stuff like Grand Theft Auto 5 or The Witcher 3, these huge open worlds that are just so well crafted and so well done. And Witcher 3 is definitely a much better RPG than Fallout 4. So, it's so many things. And I think because I was such a big fan, and my hype for this, the levels of hype were so crazy that I feel, I don't want to say empty-handed, but obviously, like I said, very, very disappointed. Like, Bethesda, you make, and I think Colin also mentioned this point, you're probably still making, a decent amount of money from games like Fallout 3 and New Vegas that sell, what are those games? Like, you probably get them for $5 or $10, so you're getting a little bit of money from those games. Oblivion, Skyrim is still probably selling somewhat well, like a lot better than the others from Bethesda. And Fallout 4 did crazy numbers and they're probably still doing, maybe not crazy numbers, but very, very well. And it's probably going to end up being their most successful game that they've ever created when it's all said and done, which is fine. It's good for them. It's good for Bethesda. But if Elder Scrolls 6 comes out and it's on the same engine, which it most likely will be, and it plays a lot like Fallout 4, and it does a lot of the same things that Fallout 4 has done, some of the mistakes with the dialogue system, and, just kind of feeling like your choices always end up in the same spot, no matter what you choose. It doesn't really matter. Like, your choices in Fallout 4, it almost feels like it doesn't really matter who you side with. It doesn't really matter, the conversations you're having in main quests and side quests. It just feels like you always end up in the same place. The outcome is almost always the same. So what's the point of giving me these different options? Now I understand I haven't played it because I haven't even completed the main quest for Fallout 4. Like, that's how much I guess that's how little I would say that I feel about this game. Like, the level of excitement. I don't know if I'll ever get around to completing this game, but if I do and I can get into the Far Harbor DLC, I guess there are some skill checks in the dialogue with certain NPCs, whether it's, strength, science, whatever. There's some skill checks or whatever, which is sort of bringing it back a little bit to what Fallout 3 and New Vegas had done. But they're still not quite there. From what I've seen, they're still not quite there, and I don't know if I can ever be brought to finish Fallout 4. I don't know what it is that they can do to make me want to finish. I don't know what the mod community can do. I've put over 140 hours into the game. I know that sounds crazy, right? Over 140 hours and didn't complete the main quest. It's because I was too busy doing other things. I don't really fast travel in games. I think it makes me feel like a little less immersed, for one thing. That's probably the main thing. And then it just kind of makes me feel like a casual at times if I do it too much. So I don't really fast travel when I play games like Fallout 4 or Witcher 3, Dying Light, whatever games allow you to fast travel. I'm not really sure if Dying Light allows for fast travel. I think that it does. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. GTA 5, I can't remember if that allows for fast travel, but I don't really fast travel. I just think, again, it takes you out of the experience a little bit. Some people prefer it so they can get around a lot more quickly, but I like to take it all in. I like to explore your huge open world and just, kind of find things for myself. There's a lot of stuff you might miss if you just fast travel a lot. You know what I mean? Like, if you're walking around a lot, like I do, you might find something a lot more interesting from the last time that you took that path from point A to point B. Like, oh, damn, what's that over there? That kind of looks like a cave. Maybe there's some good weapons or something in there, something like that. I'm just kind of giving an example of what you might experience. This video is going on very long, I know, but I think it's just the length of this video would probably illustrate my feelings. Like, it just, man, like, this guy really was disappointed with Fallout 4, and I am. I wish I felt better about it, but I don't. Will we get an Obsidian Fallout that would undoubtedly be a better game than Fallout 4, at least for me? I don't know. I don't know if Bethesda will let Obsidian touch another Fallout game because, one, I feel like they know that they put them to shame with Fallout New Vegas, especially in terms of, writing and being more of an RPG. But there was a lot of issues there, something with review scores and getting bonuses. And Obsidian did say some months ago that they would love to work on another Fallout game, but I don't know if Bethesda is going to allow for that to happen. That being said, again, it's a good game. I don't think, like a lot of people got onto me when I said, I think Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is a very good game. People said, no, it's not. It's not a very good Metal Gear game. I just can't. My buddy John, he won't even bring himself to play Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance because he doesn't feel like it belongs. It doesn't deserve to have that name attached to it. Him saying that makes me feel the same way about Fallout 4. It's like, hey, it's probably a very good game, but I don't know if it deserves the Fallout name attached to it. Unfortunately, the reality is the Fallout name is attached to it. There's no way around that, and it's a sequel to 4. So, whereas New Vegas was a spinoff, I don't know what else I can possibly say to illustrate the disappointment that I have with Fallout 4. Again, they did some nice things and made some improvements, especially like with looting. You no longer have to click on an enemy and like scroll up and down to see what you want. You can just walk right up to a dead body and what they have and what you can take is all right there. You don't have to do anything else. It's very, very simple. I like some of those changes. And like I said, like the particle effects and stuff like that, they've improved greatly on. You may not even need mods like Eve or something like that to, get a better overall experience in terms of things like that. I mean, Eve will probably end up coming out anyway or something similar to Eve, and if you don't know what Eve is, then I can leave a link to some of this stuff in the description, as well as the video that sort of like sparked this video, the Greg and Colin video from Kinda Funny Games. I thought it was a really good podcast, especially when they started talking about Fallout 4. Like, the way Greg feels about Fallout 4 is kind of like how I feel about Fallout 4. I feel like I got my fill. It's a good game, but I just don't feel like the need to replay it over and over again the way I did with Fallout New Vegas or even Fallout 3. Like he said, it's a good game. I just, I don't want to go back. He was like, he admitted that he was sort of anticipating the Far Harbor DLC, and then once he got to play it, along with some other issues, he just was kind of like, Fallout. I think I'm done. I think think I've had my Fallout 4 fill. So that's going to be the video. I don't know what else to say. I feel like there's probably some things that I missed, but this video was really, really long, and it's hard to put everything into, you know, what I was hoping would be no more than like 6 or 7 minute video. It's hard to do that, but that's gonna be it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry it was really long for those that stuck around and listened to the entire thing, but yeah, go watch Greg and Colin's video, and I'll try and remember to leave a link to that mod as well if you don't know what Eve is. So you guys take it easy. Thank you very much for the continued support. I'm still playing through The Witcher 3. It is very likely that I will review this game, and I don't know when that'll be out, but I'll continue to make videos between now and then. I'll maybe do some E3 predictions and things like that here in the next few days to a week. So, again, take it easy. You guys have a good night. Peace.